started my morning on Monday with some avocado toast, and I've upped my game because I actually fried the bread in the pan with some olive oil, and it's a game changer. Even though I'm not vegan or vegetarian, I actually really enjoy tempeh bacon. It has this weird, really yummy umami flavor, and it's so yummy. Also been a game changer, rubbing garlic on my bread before I make my avocado toast is so freaking good. I don't know why, but it adds this yummy flavor to it, and especially because the bread got all crusty right before you add the avocado, you want to rub a little garlic clove on top, and it's going to kind of put all of the flavor into the bread. And you know, average avocado toast recipe, I like to use the actual avocado skin as a little bowl to smash it in. It's so much easier and less cleanup. And then I do the regular red pepper flakes, salt and pepper, a little bit of lemon juice, and that's about it. Lately, for my caffeine of choice, I've just been drinking pure matcha from GOLDE. It's so yummy, and I absolutely love this one. And I use a little sifter or strainer, I guess, and I sift my matcha through because that way you'll get a very smooth matcha without any little matcha clumps, because I cannot stand those. I really cannot. So that way you will get a very smooth all the way through matcha. And I usually just make mine in a small cup with a little bit of water because I don't like it to be too milky, and then of course topped with some oat milk. I started filming this during finals week, so I was actually really busy, so this will be a good example of what I eat when I don't have a lot of time to cook. So I just got done with a bunch of work for school, and I still have more. This week is finals week, so I am very busy. I have quite a lot of studying to do. I have a paper that's due today that I'm still working on, so I don't really have a lot of time to cook. So that's why I'll be making a green chef meal, and I will be making the shrimp and veggie noodle bowls. It says that it should only take 20 minutes, which is perfect because I really don't have time right now. So thank you, Green Chef, for sponsoring today's video, and let's get cooking. Again, I just wanted to voice thank you so much, Green Chef, for sponsoring today's video. Green Chef is a USDA certified organic company that has something for everyone. They have dishes for a variety of lifestyles, including vegan, vegetarian, paleo, and keto. Why I love Green Chef is because they have really easy and step-by-step instructions with chef's tips and photos to guide you along, as well as the ingredients that you receive will be mostly pre-measured, perfectly portioned, and mostly prepped. For me personally, Green Chef is awesome because it allows me to not have to worry about the meal prepping, the meal planning, the recipe seeking, as well as the grocery shopping, because it is all included in your subscription. It comes to your door. You have already selected your meals. Everything is mostly prepped and measured out, and you don't have to spend time going to the store and getting the ingredients. If you find yourself being really busy and not having enough time to go to the grocery store or plan your meals or even cook a meal that is decent and good for you, Green Chef would be perfect for you. So go to greenchef.us/90aliaz and use my code 90aliaz to get $90 off, including free shipping on your first box. Now for dinner, I made one of my favorites and most delicious soups I've probably ever had, to be honest. I made a lentil minestrone spring soup. When I say I'm obsessed, I mean I'm obsessed with this soup, and I know it's a very random thing to be obsessed with and kind of boring, but trust me, it's so good. The only thing is that you need to have time to actually chop some veggies, where I chopped a celery stick, some carrots, some bell peppers, a little bit of leek, as well as some onion and garlic. I start off by sauteing the garlic and the onion in a little bit of olive oil to just soften them, and then I add the leeks and wait for them to soften as well. I go ahead and add the rest of the veggies like the celery and the carrots, and also mix them in and wait for them to soften a little bit. And finally added the chopped bell peppers. This recipe is unintentionally vegan, and it has veggie bouillon cubes. You can always add chicken cubes if you want, but that's what I chose to add. And then add 1.5 cans of crushed tomato and 2 cups of water. And before you leave the soup alone for a minute, the last thing is that you want to add some dried thyme. I kind of just eyeballed it, so you go by however much you want. Once the soup has been boiling for about 5 minutes, I go ahead and add my lentils. I use about a cup, but you can easily use a little bit less than that because sometimes it gets a little bit too thick and I end up adding more water because I want it to have more liquid. So you can do trial and error and see what you like. I started my morning off working, which I know is not the best thing, but that's just what happens on finals week. And I was actually editing a video that I had to get out. And then I also was drinking some hot water with lemon, which is my morning drink of choice. And a little later, I realized I needed something stronger, so I went for the matcha, and it's the same recipe with the sifting and the oat milk, same old, same old. And yes, I'm obsessed with the tempeh bacon, so I had it again for a second time. And I also paired it with a little scrambled egg and some sauteed garlic and spinach because this is a really easy way to get in my greens for the day. But you know I like to fancy things up, so I made it into a taco. I added the eggs, a little bit of cheese, some salsa, and I broke down the pieces of tempeh and put them on top. And for lunch, I just had a good old cup of my minestrone lentil soup, and it was delicious and quick and easy and yummy. This is one of my favorite dinner recipes because it's so easy and it's perfect when I'm not super hungry, but of course I need to eat. So I get some cauliflower and strained chickpeas onto a baking sheet and I drizzle them with a little bit of olive oil. And then I go in with my overly used spice, my onion salt from Trader Joe's, and some garlic powder on the cauliflower. And on the chickpeas, we go in with some ground coriander, some paprika, and some salt. Now for the dressing, I love this dressing. I put it on everything. We go in with some tahini. I love the one from Trader Joe's because it doesn't have a very bitter taste. And then again, we go in with the onion salt from Trader Joe's as well. A little bit of white wine vinegar, 1 grated garlic clove, a squeeze or 2 from about 1/3 of a lemon. And at the end, I add a little bit of water so that it's easier to mix and it becomes more liquidy. And at the end, I add a little bit of coconut aminos. If you don't have those, you can always use soy sauce. And then I have some kale in a bowl. I add a little bit of olive oil and some salt, and then I massage it with my hand. And this way, the actual kale is going to become much softer and easier to eat, and it becomes so delicious in the salad. And then I just add the cauliflower and the chickpeas on top of the kale and dress them with the little tahini lemon dressing. Honestly, so delicious, nice, light, and nutritious. And then I paired it with one of my favorite drinks at the moment, which was a raspberry and lime spindrift. And then I had some strawberries as my little night snack / dessert. On Wednesday, I actually had a dentist appointment, so I did not have time to film or to cook very much, but I just made myself a quick avocado toast with some salt and some lemon juice, and that was it because I really was running late and had to get out the door. And when I got home, I was actually still very hungry, so we had some leftover pasta that Yoni made, and then I added the veggies from last night from the salad and mixed them all together, and it was weirdly kind of good. As a second lunch / snack, afternoon snack, I had a smoothie bowl. I used these Trader Joe's acai packets and some blueberries, half of a banana, and orange juice. And this time it did come out pretty runny, but that is okay. I added some bananas, but they sunk to the bottom, so they did not look aesthetically pleasing as I tried. And then my homemade granola, a few strawberries, and a good amount of almond butter. I used to be obsessed with smoothie bowls, and I took a break for some reason, but I'm back at it, especially because the weather is nicer. They are so yummy. And before I made dinner today, I actually wanted to prep something for breakfast, so I made a chia pudding. I will link the recipe with the measurements down below, but I just did some chia seeds, some unsweetened almond milk. I like the barista blend because it's a little bit thicker and creamier, some maple syrup, and a little bit of salt and vanilla extract. Now I'm trying more and more to meal prep a little bit so it's easier on me with my time management when it comes to busy weeks like this. And for dinner, I made another Green Chef recipe that required some mashed potatoes, so I cut them up, I put them with some water and salt in a pan and waited for them to boil. We also had some string beans that I just cut in half and took off the tips, and then roughly chopped a Roma tomato. Then I prepared some chicken breast. I put them on a baking sheet with some salt and pepper, and then I added added this Dijon type of sauce that came in the meal kit, and then topped it off with this panko breading that also had some cheddar cheese and salt and pepper and olive oil. And the string beans were sauteed with some salt and pepper and olive oil, and then I topped them off with the walnuts that came in the meal kit and the tomatoes. And that was dinner: mashed potatoes, the breaded chicken breast, and the string beans. It was so good. And of course, I had it with another raspberry lime spindrift. And breakfast the next day was super easy because I had the chia pudding ready to go. I did some chia pudding at the bottom. I topped it with my homemade granola and some strawberries. And of course, with no surprise, I had another matcha that morning. But unfortunately, I actually ran out of oat milk, so I had to replace it with unsweetened almond milk, which is not my favorite when it comes to actually drinks and lattes. But I admitted to actually adding some oat milk creamer that had some vanilla in it, and it made it a little bit better. And it was kind of a busy day, so I did not actually have time to make lunch, and I kind of forgot to be honest, which is not good. It's not good. But for dinner / lunch, I made some veggie spring rolls. I used some rice paper and then topped it off with some lettuce, a little bit of cilantro, some cut up carrots and peppers and cucumbers, and a little bit of red cabbage. And then I wrapped them up. And trust me, I am not I haven't done this before, to be honest, and it was kind of hard, so don't judge my wrapping, okay? And for the peanut sauce, I will put all of the measurements down below from the recipe that I found, but I did some peanut butter, some soy sauce, a little bit of vinegar, some maple syrup, and a little bit of sesame oil. And despite my wrapping, as you can see in the background, there's one that completely exploded. This was super yummy, and I will definitely be making this again with different variations of veggies and protein. And on Friday, I started my day with a little bit of tea. I love the blueberry green tea from the Yogi brand. And for breakfast, I made an omelet with 2 scrambled eggs and a little bit of bell pepper. And to add some more greens to my day, after the bell pepper was nice and soft in the pan, I added a handful of spinach and just sauteed it before I added the eggs. And we all know omelets are just better if you add a little cheese. So before I made it into a little pocket, I added a Mexican blend inside and folded it in. And of course, as you thought, I had more of that smoky tempeh bacon aside from my omelet and some avocado toast. And for lunch, I just had my lentil soup again because it was in the fridge and gotta eat those leftovers. And it's so good, honestly. I never feel like I'm eating leftovers because it's so nice and fresh. And then I had one of my leftover spring rolls. Later in the afternoon, for a little snack, I had some madeleines, which are really yummy and addicting. And for dinner, I made one of my favorite tofu recipes. I will link it down below. It's from a woman that I absolutely love. Her name is Sophia Rowe, and she's an amazing chef as well as activist and just person in general. So I will link everything of hers down below because I'm obsessed with her. But I just got some extra firm tofu and dusted it with a little bit of cornstarch. And don't be afraid of cornstarch. It's just a little bit, and just to make it really nice and crisp. I used some avocado oil and I just put them in a pan and waited for them to fry on each side and get golden brown. And then I just minced really nice and small some garlic cloves. I think it was around 6. It is very garlicky, and that's why I love it. And then I also chopped some ginger, which is also really yummy. And you want to just make everything pretty small. And then also 2 shallots. So I put all of them in a pan with olive oil, and you want to cook them on medium to medium low. Like, you want them to be sizzling, but you want to cook them nice and slow, because this way, as Sophia says, you will develop really nice flavors without burning anything, and really let all of the aromas of everything just kind of mending together. And I did add some extra olive oil because you do want to have quite a bit of oil in there, so you're flavoring the oil with all of the aromatics. And for the sauce, you take some Dijon mustard. There wasn't any measurements, so you kind of have to eyeball this because I also kind of put different amounts every time, but it is about 2 spoons of Dijon mustard, some coconut aminos, and some vinegar. So to the pan that has all of our nice flavors going on, I added a good amount of pepper because this is a black pepper tofu recipe, so black pepper is a big component. You can put as much or as little as you want, and then you add your sauce that you just made on top, and you kind of cook it down until it becomes a little thicker and starts to stick to the bottom of the pan. And then you go ahead and add the tofu cubes back into the pan, and you just move them around to get them nice and coated in the sauce, and until you feel like the sauce has really penetrated and attached to the side of the tofu. This tofu is so good, I sometimes eat it simply by itself, but I added it to a bed of rice and some green onions. And on Saturday, I had again more tempeh bacon and another chia pudding, because this is when I was kind of just gonna go through everything that was in my fridge and try and finish it off. And then as a little snack during the day before I left the house, I had an apple, and specifically a Honeycrisp, because that's the only apple I will ever eat. And then for lunch/dinner, Yoni and I grabbed some Chipotle because we were out and we were hungry and we hadn't eaten in like hours. So I usually get brown rice with chicken and all the veggies and lettuce and cheese, and both hot and mild salsas. And I'm so sorry, but on Sunday I went to work in the morning and I did not film my breakfast because it was a busy day and I didn't even think about it. But then for dinner, I had some pad thai takeout because, again, I was super busy. It was the end of the quarter and I had a lot of school stuff to do, so I did not have time to make anything. So it was takeout and it was delicious, and I'm not mad about it or feel guilty about it. So yeah, that was the whole week of eating. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found some new recipes that you want to try. Let me know in the comments below if anything caught your eye, and I will see you next time.